Hello, everyone. We have a special episode. We are going to be doing a dual podcast with Coach K and myself and Open Enough to Listen. We have Brandon, Coach K, and Miss Anita.
Charlena, Anita.
Starlene, Anita, I'm sorry. Please don't hurt me. You guys want to introduce yourselves?
Oh,
Oh, yes.
okay.
Go ahead, Charlena.
So my name is Charlena Anita, and thank you so much, Dom Brandon, for having us today. We're excited. We're excited to have some real talk about some real stuff, and just looking forward to the dialogue.
And I am Kara, also known as Coach K, also known as Ayana on social media. And I just love having these conversations. I'm a seeker constantly of information and also seeking to understand different people, how they think, why they do what they do. I'm finally at a place where I can do that with absolutely no judgment. I don't have any judgment. Everybody gets to choose, but I do like to understand your choices, even if I think they're crazy. Okay.
What's up, y'all? It's Brandon once again. Just here for another deep convo and great vibe. So I'm just ready to get into it. You know what I mean? But y'all know me already. So
And I'm Dom. You know, I can't wait for this. This is going to be exciting. I love Coach K's insight and Miss Charlena as well as Brandon. So let's get to it.
Mhm.
Okay, first question. I would like to get you guys' opinion. Can you fully experience love if you're always guarding your heart?
I'll let the ladies go with that one, brother.
I'm gonna let Charlena go first.
Wow, can you fully experience love if you're guarding your heart? I think that you can experience degrees of love with a guarded heart, but I don't, listen, everyone probably defines love and what love is to them differently. And so I think that for me, I could not, but I think that there are people who can have a guarded heart and still believe and feel that they are experiencing love. And fully is relative. I know for me, I would have to be 100, all guards down. I believe that when you operate in that space of putting the guards down, you you open up yourself and you open up another healed person to be able to fully experience love.
Hmm.
I'll leave it there.
Okay. Can you fully experience love? Let me get in the frame here before mom texts me. Um, and by mom, I mean Charlotte, my big sister. Can you fully experience love with a guarded heart? I mean, I think the answer is obviously no, because you can have feelings of love, but I don't know. And I thought that I was there, only to find out later it was kind of loveless. But I feel like you're not really experiencing love if it's not in its fullest nature. You're just not, even though I understand completely why we are guarded, but I don't think you can really. Um, so imagine if you're feeling like you love somebody, but you know you're guarded. How much more would it be if it was full and complete because you didn't have any guards? And why be there if you have to be guarded? That's where I'm at right now, which is what Charlena's saying as well.
I agree with both of you. I think that question's kind of clear cut. Like I don't believe you can uh love or experience love fully with the guarded heart because like you said, you kind of have to
Mhm,
be open to a lot of things because love throws a lot of curveballs at you. Love is not
mhm,
the same for everybody. You know what I mean? Love
mhm,
is, it varies. You know what I mean? And sometimes it's a like it's a how can I say, it's your personal preference. You might love certain things that I don't love. You know what I mean? But To do it with a guarded heart is very hard because you have to be open to love's changes and the rain, the storms, the sunshine. You have to be open to all that, and you can't do that with a guarded heart. It's the fastest way to walk away, if you ask me.
Mhm. If I may interject, I don't think that you can fully experience love to your capacity if you have a conscious, if you have a conscious, guarded heart.
Meaning you know it's guarded and you're intentionally choosing to keep
Well, I say,
yourself.
yeah, I'm saying with intention to guard. I Yeah, I think if you intentionally are guarding your heart, you definitely you cannot experience love fully. And I mean it's such a relative, it's a relative question, because I think that based on our life experience, based on who we are and where we are in our personal development, I think that determines our ability, capacity to love on certain levels, to love, to have deeper levels of love. I mean, think about maybe your first love, or maybe the second love you had, or love that you had when you were in your 20s. But then as you move into decades of life, you have different life experiences, you understand love in a different way, you have the ability to love on a different level. So that whole fully is truly, truly relative, and is truly dependent on so many other factors that we have control over and that we don't have control over.
This is what I wrote down.
Can't trust
Listen, if there's no trust, and it starts with trust in yourself,
yourself.
first of all,
Mm-hmm.
because, and this is so important, because, and I didn't even learn this until just these past few years, coming out of a divorce. If I don't trust myself, I can't trust you. It is impossible. It could be any number of things. It could be that I'm
Mm-hmm.
filtering you through other people and somebody else did this, so I think you're going to do the same. But self trust is the most powerful weapon that you can ever have, because self trust means that you know when your body, heart, mind, spirit, whatever divine being you believe in, you trust that voice, you know it, you hear it, etc. Then I don't have to worry about whether or not I trust Brandon. I can just let each day evolve as it goes, and my self trust will inform me if I should lean in more or pull back
Mm-hmm.
more. But
Mm-hmm.
because so many
Mm-hmm.
people don't have the self trust, and then they
Mm-hmm.
couldn't, their mother let them down, they couldn't trust their dad, and or they've been cheated on like I have in the past, and so many other people have, because of that, that they don't, that's why they doubt the voice. They never learned to hear it, or they may think it betrayed them at some point when they really weren't in touch with self-trust to
Mm-hmm.
begin with. So I with
Mm-hmm.
what I've learned, I just don't believe that you can even begin to trust somebody else if you don't trust yourself. And listen, before I finish, some people don't trust themselves because they know they ain't shit. I'm gonna go right there right now.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So they think you're doing things because of what they know they are doing. So they know they can't trust themselves. They know you can't trust them. And therefore, there can be no fully love. It's all just toxic emotions coupled with great sex, because that's the only reason why these people are still together. Okay. I'm sorry. I told y'all, not
How
in
do
a good
Hey,
mood. I'm
do you
not in a
feel
good mood at
do you
all.
feel better now? Did that feel a little bit better?
Mm.
I feel like you had to
Yeah,
get
I
that
mean,
out.
I know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's
I'm not,
okay.
thank goodness, I'm not mad about anything around that. I'm at peace. I have joy, and only good things are coming my way. I'm just having a stressful few days. That's all.
oh, it's all right. Right here's where you can let it out at.
Mm. Let it all out.
We can't hear you, Domino.
Yeah, you're muted.
No, I was gonna
There
say
you go.
this is the place to let it out, especially, we got stuff going on.
Cheers. Charlene and I drink on our show. Where I wouldn't say we're alcoholics, but we definitely drink, and I might do some other things if I wasn't gonna make trying to make the internet mad. But this is red wine, toasting to all
Good
of
for
you tonight.
you.
Yes,
What
ma'am.
about you, Domino? We ain't heard from you yet,
Yeah,
man.
we're waiting.
Um,
Don't say
Can you
ma'am
fully?
again, though. You're gonna make me feel old, Dom. Let's just back up off of
Okay.
the ma'am.
It's
Okay.
but
It's a
it's
force of
natural. Even
habit.
like
We were
when they,
raised to put
yeah,
man in. I
yeah,
call young women ma'am. I call my daughter
yeah,
ma'am. It's just a
yeah.
force of
So
habit.
it's
It's
just
gonna
a
keep
habit.
happening.
Yeah,
Depends on how you say it. Okay, go ahead.
that's true. But shoot, nowadays you got kids that would never even say yes, ma'am, no, ma'am. So you gotta take it when you can. I would say, like, as far as like fully experienced love, if you know you're always guarding your heart, I would say no because of the different walls that's placed that you put up. You know, it may be a situation to where you want to love someone, but you're stuck in maybe stuff that's done happened to you in the past, and that stuff that happened to you in the past has nothing to do with the person in front of you, but because of your experience, because of different things that you've experienced, you know, you have those walls up, and those walls up comes from prior experience, but not the person in front of you. And I think doing that, you don't give that person the benefit of the doubt because yeah, it may look the same, but they may not do the same thing that that person did. So when guarding your heart, you can't really fully be open to even receive the love, even if you did really like the person and wanted to love the person, you still don't know how to love if your heart is guarded.
And as Carl was saying, your heart, excuse me, tends to be guarded if you just have a lot of shit that you haven't worked through, you haven't healed from. I mean that is what creates the walls. And until you do the hard work of working through your own personal stuff, um, you because love can't flourish in that garden, in that bed of soil. Love cannot flourish with the toxicity of hurt and pain that you have in your heart until you've released that through however you won't be able to receive it. I don't think that you can even recognize when someone is coming to you in full transparency, in love, in realness. um you can't recognize that. So again, it goes back to each person having to do their own work so that they can be open and free from whatever is has been holding them down, burdening them, closing off their heart. You've got to get rid of that stuff, and
So
it's
Mm,
not
I would
always easy.
no, it's definitely not. I would say a follow up to that would be: are you truly open, you know, to love if you're not willing to risk being hurt?
well, she's
Mm.
very happily married, so she doesn't get to answer that question.
No, but I can
Um,
talk. I can speak to. So I've been a person, I don't know if it's just a me, Charlena thing, if it's part of being a Sagittarius, is it a part of what my history has been that, I've had a pretty good history. Doesn't mean my heart was never broken or I was never cheated on or anything like that. But I'm just a natural optimist. And so I just expect and look for and desire the best. And if even if I had, a breakup and a hurtful breakup, my makeup is one that I I don't I leave that behind me, and I look at the next person for who they are, and I anticipate the best. But so what I would do when I was dating is I would give you a little bit, and I don't mean pussy, but I give you a little bit of me. I would open up myself just a little bit and let me see how you handle that. What do you do with this part of me that I'm giving and showing to you? Are you embracing that? Do you appreciate it? Are you reciprocating? And then, okay, look at you. All right, well, let me give you a little more. Let me see what you do with that. And I would just incrementally go in those steps. And then eventually, based on what the person showed me, I would be able to fully fully let them experience what I consider to be all of me. Um, as Cara said, I'm married now, very happily married. One of and I think I alluded to this earlier. I think that love begets love. I think the Bible says that. I think. Um, when I met my husband came 100%. 100%. He put it all out there. And that was so attractive to me. It just it immediately it any sort of apprehension that I have, in terms of the vetting process, it just made it a lot easier for me to get through that vetting process because he didn't come with any shit. He came real. And so he came and he showed love. And so by him coming that way, it helped me to open up and accept it and to give of myself.
But see, Charlene, also, he hadn't experienced, as far as I know, like deep betrayal before that, right?
Right.
So, whereas a lot of us out here are like the walking wounded, struggling,
Mhm.
trying to find a new partner that you can deal with, I think it can be it's a totally different challenge, and that's why I would prefer the person who hasn't had, has more of a clean slate or whatever, right? So that you're not necessarily two broken people building together. But the reason why I keep going back to the trust thing is because when a person doesn't have any self trust,
Mhm.
they will do things like refer to you with, or women will do this as well. It's anybody's game. Think about you with some ex or a parent or whatever and lump you two together. They don't trust themselves enough to know the difference between
Mhm.
you and their daddy or whoever or
Mhm.
whatever. And I can remember, very counter to your situation, the person that I was dealing with, when I said once, I want us to have a really fun weekend. Would you be open to, because I knew he was guarded, would you be open to a really fun weekend? We can hang out and do things. And and he was like, well, what are the details? And I said, well, we're going to do a little sharing or whatever. And he replied back to me almost verbatim, um not that you have done this. So already acknowledging this is not me. But I limit my sharing. I found that it can be used against you.
Mhm.
So you are
Mhm.
literally saying you've done nothing wrong here,
Mhm.
but I don't share because
Mhm.
back
What
in
so and so did? Yeah.
2007, this
Yes.
person broke my trust, embarrassed me in front of these other people,
Mhm.
whatever. So the decision, the new agreement, like the book, The Four Agreements, people make these internal agreements with themselves all the time. The new agreement you made when that situation
Mhm.
happened was not, she did this. It was, I must first, oh, there's another notch that I need to take down, or something else I need to shield myself from so that I don't feel this hurt again.
Mhm.
But what people don't realize is, this goes into the second question, you're hurting yourself on the back end by permanently closing
Mhm.
yourself off to
Mhm.
intimacy, sharing, and a new
Mhm.
person with a new
Mhm.
opportunity, all because there's a deep seated
Mhm.
lack of trust here. I didn't catch it the last time.
Mhm.
I went that far with her and didn't catch it. So
Mhm.
this chick could be the same, and she's just acting. There's no self trust.
That's Coach K, that's a man.
Mhm.
Okay. That is that is a man. Okay. First of all, it takes the type of the type of teeth you have to pull to get us to open up to you like that and be vulnerable like that. It's 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 ridiculous, right? It's kind of crazy what you have to do to get us men to do that. But when we do that, when we feel comfortable to do that, and it's used as a weapon or is used against us or something, the us not us shutting that off and not being able to do that, or it doesn't hurt us like you think, because that's how we're wired. You get what I'm saying? Like we
Oh, you mean
wasn't.
the after effects of that? The after effects of
Right,
making that
right,
decision doesn't
right.
hurt you. Okay.
Not all men start off as dogs and all that stuff. Most men start off wanting to do
Mhm.
right and have a wife and be a husband and do right and all that good stuff, because that's what we're taught. Just like you guys have this thing where you are brought up and you want to be wives and like we want to do that.
Mhm.
Like what makes us happy and what drives us most of the
Mhm.
time coming up is learning ways to love and provide for our family, right? So when we become vulnerable like that and that is used on us, it sets off something different. That is most like it's going to set off something different in us to where us guarding that won't hurt us because that's what we've been doing. What hurt us the most is letting that out. Because even though we're letting it out and we're comfortable letting it out with you, it doesn't feel good when we do that. It's a
Mm.
relief after. It doesn't feel good when we do that. So to go through that and then to have that, like so I completely get where he was coming from. You get what I'm saying? And that takes time and the right person, I guess, or you know, his own self reflection. That takes time, but that's not something that most men just jump into with women. Women do that way faster than we will. You get what I'm saying? And it's, I mean, like I
So
said, we don't
do you
always
think it's
start like that.
so I mean, do you think that it's a part so just think back to you growing up as a boy and
Mhm.
teenager. Were you programmed that way? Do you ever remember someone consciously saying, "Man, don't do this"? Or is it something you was like, what is it? Because if what you're saying is true, that men, they start off, as boys, they're growing up, they want to be fathers and husbands and all of that, but where does the transition happen? What happens that makes them not be comfortable with the sharing? What is it that what is it? I mean,
Because
what is it are you feeling? Because what is it?
you said what makes us not be comfortable with the sharing.
Yeah, you said that you guys aren't comfortable with the opening up and the sharing.
Well,
What?
it really depends on what we're sharing with you, first off. But
Okay.
all I'm saying is like okay, for me, I'll use me as an example,
Mhm,
right? Like you said, your husband came in, he was all the way 100, right? When I came into my last relationship, never thought I would be saying that, but I was all the way 100, okay?
mhm,
I was coming out of the military, I was having my way, I could go wherever, I can get eight more, I can do this, I went in and I gave a whole 100. You know what I'm saying? Because when I went in there, I fell in love with that woman. You get what I'm
mhm,
saying? But the first time I was lied to, the first time I was betrayed, you feel what I'm saying?
mhm,
It was like something set it off because, like I said, I put everything into this one woman, something that
mhm,
I've never done. Okay.
mhm,
I've never done that. I've been here, I've been there, I've done this, I've done that, I've done this. And at 2024, I meet a woman with children. I go in 100%. I take care of her kids. We have kids. I take care of those kids. You get what I'm saying? I'm here with those kids right now at football.
mhm,
I, so it's when I did that, I went all in and it didn't pan out right. You know what I'm saying? So now the next woman that I deal with and the woman that I'm dealing with, we do have there is a little disconnect there. And I know where it's at. I know it's me because like we were talking about, a piece of me is still really guarded from that. You know what I'm saying? It's not
mhm,
easy. Like women think it's easy when a man walks away from something like that because we jump out in the street, we out every night, we're partying, we got this
mhm,
woman next to us, we got that woman next to us, we ain't got nobody to answer to. But they don't even understand that is not the life like that's not what we really want to do. We're
mhm,
doing that to keep away from being vulnerable again and opening up
mhm,
to somebody
mhm,
and doing and going through that same cycle again because me opening up was not valued enough when I went all in and did it. You get what I'm saying? And it was used as a weapon for me in my experiences. So for me, it is kind of hard for me to break down those barriers. Do I have hopes in it? Yeah, I have hopes in it. But like Dominique said, I want to love again, but if I if I be honest with you, I don't know if I could go through that type of hurt again. You get what I'm saying? I don't know if I could take the next woman
So
and
you're
be able to
It's-
see the type of love she's giving me and be able to receive that the right way. Because the whole time when I thought I was being loved, I wasn't. So I don't
so
even,
what did
so
you?
a piece of, huh?
Very good point, right there. You
Mhm.
said when you thought you were being loved, you weren't.
Right.
Have you been able to to really like dig deep into that and say, okay, what did I see as being love, and I realize now that it wasn't. Like, is there have
It's
there?
it's a it's a combination of things, right? So for most men, right? For most men, I'm gonna say this, and y'all might not agree with me, right? A lot of people might not agree with me, but I think men are the only human beings or mammals or whatever you want to. We are the only creatures that love unconditionally. Period. Point blank. That's the way I feel. So when a man goes in and it's an unconditional love, sometimes you don't. It doesn't take you like it doesn't. A man won't just walk away. You know what I mean? Like that doesn't just happen like that. You get what I'm saying? So to I'm trying to answer your question the best way I can without saying something wrong, if that makes sense.
No, no, no. There's nothing. There's nothing.
Um,
If you don't owe us anything, man, we're not gonna judge you. Just
no,
need to say it, figure it out as you're saying it.
Yeah, but
it's
we don't
not
know
that
what wrong
I'm just trying to
means.
articulate how I want to
Okay.
say this. You get what I'm saying? Like
Mm-hmm.
we love differently from y'all. You get what I'm saying?
Hmm.
It's 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 a little bit easier for y'all to handle you guys' emotions and all that stuff when it comes to things like that than it is for us. That's another reason why being guarded is something that we always do. It's something we are taught to do. Even especially for me, I come from a single mother. I wasn't like I didn't have like yeah, there was an open door, but how was I going to talk to my mom about things
Hmm.
that I
Hmm.
needed a man to talk to about?
Hmm.
You get what I'm saying?
Hmm.
So, and I'm not saying this like, like everything was her fault, you know what I mean? Like I never saw a man love my mom. So I never knew what that looked like. You know what I mean? So I very well could have been in there loving her wrong too, you know what I mean? But that's something we haven't been able to have a discussion about. So I can only speak for me. You
Hmm.
get what I'm saying? And for me, like I said, I what I thought was love, I also was blinded by my love for her. So I couldn't really
Hmm.
tell when she wasn't loving me because I loved her so much that that shit didn't
Mm.
even fucking matter.
Wow.
Okay.
So when
Wow.
you tell me something and I know it's a lie, I convince myself it's the truth because this
Okay.
shit with me is unconditional. You get what I'm saying? And it's not something that like it's not even something that I planned on. You know what I mean? I just realized while I was loving her, there was no conditions to it. There was
Okay.
none. You know what I'm saying?
Hmm.
So I couldn't see where, like I said, I couldn't see where things that I thought was love really wasn't love because I loved her so much. And I haven't had a great example of what love is supposed to look like from a woman, if that
Hmm.
makes sense, right? Because it's
Hmm.
always been conditional. It's never been it's never been just what you guys say, free like free form love, I guess. Like it's never been like that. It's always been conditional. But most women are conditional lovers. Most men are not. This is why women walk away when they're unhappy. Most men don't walk
Mm.
away when they're unhappy. They'll stay in something unhappy because most of the times what makes us happy is you not having to do nothing. You being able to, you not having to worry about that next bill. You not having to worry about this car. Like
That's true.
providing and protecting is what makes us happy
That's true.
to some men, right? Some of
Right.
us, not all of us, but that was my happy place. So that's my answer to that. Like, like, no, I'm not ready to hurt again. I would love to love again. But I, that's like a contradiction when I say it, right? Because I'm a lover boy, right? So, of course, I would love to love again. But to go through that again, to feel that again, you get what I'm saying? Like, that is something like I wouldn't wish that type of pain or hurt on nobody. You know what I mean? You
So,
got to think about when you spend so much time with a person and you put all your time into that.
mhm.
You don't get that back. That's something we can't get back. Not your time, not nothing. Not your love you gave, not nothing. Like you can't get that back. And that is very, very hurtful. And it kills our pride and ego, man.
And
When we
so I
love
have,
someone that don't love us back.
Cara, I hope you're taking notes because I have two things and I don't want to forget
I
one
have a
because,
couple things, but I
okay, so
know
I
because
want you to write this down
we
because
come we
I
come
want
from
to
two
go
very
back to
different
the,
places.
you
So
said something about men loving unconditionally and women loving with conditions. So, Cara, please write that down because I want to explore that because it goes into a question that you had that you sent to me this morning about us discussing. But so I'm still trying to understand the difference in how men and women love. And I want to pose this to you, Brandon, in terms of your experience. So, in terms of the pain that you felt from the relationship and its demise, do you think for men the things that make it so different for men is because you're you're hurting at the core on so many things that define who you are as a man. So, for example, there's the emotional part that you put into that. Then there's you guys are really big on respect. There's the respect part, the respect of who you are as a man. So to me, like the feeling part, that's kind of a human being personal, a person thing, the feelings of love and all of that, right? But then I think as a man, there's the respect as a man. Like I know that that's huge for you. And then when you bring in the provider part and then the other, like the role of a father. So there's so many different levels, do you think, to the core? I'm just trying, while we may never ever be able to understand it, I am trying to understand like when a man puts his all into it and you guys hurt the way that you do and it tends to be deeper, you know, why is that? Is it because it's on so many different levels for
Because there's
you
no
as
because
men?
because there's no conditions. There's nothing we wouldn't do for the woman we love. When a man loves a woman, there's nothing he won't do for her.
Hmm.
I'm not saying they won't argue. I'm not saying they won't have their spats. I'm not saying, little things won't be tested, but at the end of the day, there is nothing he won't do for her. You get what I'm saying? I know a lot of women that cannot operate without having a man. Without, I know a lot of women, I know a lot of independent women too that want a man around. You know what I'm saying? That like so I when you when I when I went into mine, like I said, it was 100% unconditional. You get what I'm saying? Things things happened, unspeakable things happened in the beginning. You know what I mean? Flags that were beyond red. You know what I'm saying? And those things.
So
Go
can
ahead, sis.
can we be real? Can we
What's up?
Let-
so I ask questions for knowledge, and in no way do I mean to be judgmental if it sounds that I'm coming off that way, but I want to understand. So, have you asked yourself, when I saw those red flags, what was it that made me, what was it that made me not take heed? And
but
it
Charlena,
can
that's
be,
what he's talking about, the
That's what I
unconditional. So I
told
want
you.
him to
That's what
finish. I want him to finish his
I
okay.
point.
could not. So I didn't see
No,
those
but
flags.
I did
Oh, wait.
know. Okay, go
I
ahead.
no, wait.
Let him
I never.
explain.
I never paid attention to those flags until everything was over. Because like I said, when I went in there, I saw nothing but you. I was in love. It did not matter because I first of all, when I fell in love, I knew it was coming with baggage. So I expected certain things. I knew things like
Okay,
that was coming. You get what I'm
okay,
saying? But at the end of the
okay.
day, I didn't see it. And this happens to a lot of people. We ignore flags because of how we feel about someone. You get what I'm
Mm-hmm.
saying? Me and this
Mm-hmm.
woman has known each other since we were 9 years old. You know what I'm saying? So
Mm-hmm.
He
it's
was excited to be
I
there.
was
And
excited
that's
just
why
to
you
be in
said,
her
Brandon,
presence. So
Okay.
all
so
he
so the
saw was
things that
his
I
own
saw,
love.
my own love for somebody blinded what I should have been seeing.
Okay. Okay.
And
Yeah, okay.
it
Okay.
became
Okay.
okay. Go ahead.
Okay. I got you. I had to look back at make it personal for me to understand it, but I got you. I
Yeah.
Yeah, that
got you.
I get what he's saying because and we're going to come right back here. We're not going to go off topic, but it reminds me of something I said to a friend of mine about some difficulties she's having with a lover. They're locked in for life and everything. They're not married yet, but they're locked in. And I asked her, if you met him today, knowing these issues he has, would you date him? Okay. So, because once you are in love, all your decision making, it's
Mm-hmm.
not the same. That's why I
It's
said
not
for
the
me,
same. It
next
is
time
not this.
I'm
It's like
dating
a drug.
slow.
That's what
It's
I
like
said
a,
last
yeah,
episode. It's like a drug and it's like a high you're chasing. It
Mm-hmm.
is, it's, that's why they say,
Yeah.
that's
Yep.
why they have those sayings. You know what I'm saying? Love is a drug.
It
Once you,
is.
once you feel it and you get that first feel of it,
That high. It's a high.
it's, and you don't want it from no other person but that
Mm-hmm.
that first dealer that gave it to you.
Mm-hmm.
I want his stuff. He had the, I
Mm-hmm.
want her, she had the best stuff. You get what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
It's
Mm-hmm.
so, so yes, and then on top of that, you know, when a person sees something in you, sees something that they can benefit out of you, they can be whoever they want to be in the beginning.
Mm-hmm.
You know how
or
many people out
longer,
here deserve an Oscar? You know,
or
hell,
longer.
I've
Yeah.
I could get an Oscar for some of the things I've done.
Mm-hmm.
Let's just be
Okay.
all the way real. You get what I'm saying? So a lot
Mm-hmm.
of these people can show you somebody else, you know what I mean? But then eventually what's done in the dark comes to light. So eventually
Mm-hmm.
your true self comes out, you know what I mean? But by that time, hell, you could be 2 kids in and now you head over heels for this person before you start seeing the bullshit. And then you're like, well, that was just bullshit. That ain't, that was just, we can get
Mm-hmm.
past that. That ain't nothing. That's small things. You know what I mean? Then you know, like it's like it starts a, it can start a very toxic cycle, or it can start a very blossoming cycle. But you don't always know what you're getting sometimes when you fall in love with somebody, because people can fake it. I can fake it, you can fake it, Coach K can fake it, Dominique can fake it, anybody can fake it,
Mm-hmm.
especially if they
Mm-hmm.
see something in you that they may want. Maybe they see that you are a good
Mm-hmm.
man and you're good with kids, you know.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe they see that, and you know, there's no father figure for their kids. Maybe they see that, you know, how you treat your mother, and that, you know what I'm saying, maybe they just see, people will use you for certain things, right? And I know we're all placed here to be used, right? But nobody's here to be misused. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
And a lot
Mm-hmm.
of times people misuse that whole love word because you want somebody to stay around, or you want somebody to stick around and fulfill the prophecy you have for them. You get what I'm saying? And
Mm-hmm.
it doesn't,
Mm.
and that's a tricky situation, especially when you're in love with someone that's doing that to you,
Mm-hmm.
And you know
or
what?
when you're the,
Yeah.
or when you're the villain, when you're the one doing it. You know what I mean? Like I've sat back in my solitude and thought about it, and I've looked back at past things I've done with women, and I'm like, yo, that was, now that I'm getting older, I'm like, you know, that wasn't
Mm-hmm.
cool. Now that I've experienced a heartbreak, now that I've seen what that type of shit feel like, now I'm looking at myself sometime like, yo, you know, I gotta call these people and say I'm sorry or something, like, cause this
Mm-hmm.
wasn't cool. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
So it's, if you really love, like, if you really, like, if you really done been in love or felt love, then you know what I'm talking about. You know
Mm-hmm.
how that shit, you know how it
Mm-hmm.
could blind you. You know how you can
Mm-hmm.
think everything is glitter
Mm-hmm.
and gold, and it's, and they ain't even wiped their ass. It's shit over there.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I
Mm-hmm.
mean?
Yep.
Well, you know what? There's so much in what you said. I think that it's really important to listen and hear you, because my experience, I feel like I'm you, like on the opposite side of that. And I think, with Charlene, I don't know women who conduct themselves like that. And um, and particularly, when you say that men love unconditionally. First of all, I have never. When you said that, in that moment, I realized I've never been loved. Um, Men love unconditional, because the men that I knew who I thought loved me. So when you say men are willing to put up with more, in my opinion or my experience, the men weren't communicating about whatever little things bothered them about me. It could be, I don't know, how I that I want the toilet seat down or up, or if I was the type to run late, or whatever it is. They would never share anything that bothered them. But then when I say, hey, I really want to talk to you, I don't feel like I'm getting enough, a little more attention, or like I used to, my phrase used to be personal care and attention. That's going into the second part of this podcast when we talk about sex and a relationship, right? That would be my thing, asking for personal care and attention. Now you want to tell me the 10 things about me that are upsetting you. And I don't know. This goes back into trust, because even when you're in conflict or something with your partner, you should be able to trust why they're bringing something up, or any of that, right? And so if you only wait until I start talking about an issue for you to bring something up, and there are a lot of men who do. I've heard a lot of women say the same thing. I don't really know that I feel like what you're saying is valid. I feel
It's a
like you're
man
just coming
thing.
up with some shit because
I
I'm
think
pissed
it's a
about
man
something. And I
thing.
used
I
to
think
I've
it's
been
say,
a man
guilty of
listen,
thing.
that.
I used to say,
I'm
listen,
guilty of that.
I'm
Yeah.
open. But this would be my response, Brandon. If we could role play, I would say I'm open to hearing about whatever I've done wrong. I'm different. I know a lot of women are not open. Let me be clear. And I have learned in my singleness, especially, how bad we can be at listening. And when a man is speaking, it's taken enough courage sometimes for him to even say something. We shouldn't be saying anything. Let him get it. It may take him time. He may fumble with his words. And we are so busy trying to fix you all the time that we're not actually listening. So I want you to know I have grown. Okay. And when I was about to say my savior, and that's only the Lord, when my I hate the term person, you know what I mean? When somebody comes along for me, I'm going to be in a much different headspace by then, including self-trust, which I'm not ready now. But my point is that when you say men love unconditionally, I've never personally experienced that. I've experienced it as more of an attack, and feeling like I'm just making up things to argue about, totally invalidating what's really on my heart. And I used to be religious about taking notes, planning out how can I have this conversation so that I can get my needs met without him feeling diminished or disrespected, or like I don't value the other things he does. It's a mess. So um
Well, I I did say men love unconditionally, but it's when they love. When they love, it's
Yeah.
unconditional. So not
mm,
all men, not
Yeah.
all- like
Yeah.
not like not like I'm not gonna
Yeah.
go,
that's good. That's
and
good.
yeah, it's when we love. When we
Yeah.
so to say that, that just kind of says none of the men loved you, because when we love you,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
it's it's a different feeling for us. It's a different you'll feel it.
Mm-hmm.
You get what I'm
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
saying? You
You'll
wouldn't
know
feel
it.
like that.
Yeah.
Yeah. I've
So
accepted it. But let me
Yeah.
ask you this though, since I have this male attention here, because I had someone tell me they love me for the first time after the breakup. And after telling me at the beginning, I don't use that word, right? And so I don't know if this is self trust. I just didn't even. It registered when it was said, but it meant nothing to me, because the other commitments that needed to be made weren't made. So why are you throwing the L word over the fence? That's how it felt. Like, let me pick this L word up that I said I would never use, toss it
throw it
over
on
the
the
fence to
fishing hook
her,
and throw it
and,
over
and I'm
and
gonna tell her, "Hey,
see if
I'm
it
going to
bites.
therapy," and see if she picks it up.
Yeah.
I was like,
Well, a classic toxic man tactic for you. You know how they say,
Ooh,
I've been
okay.
talking to the lady. What lady you been talking to? You ain't been doing no therapy. No, I'm just messing with you. But then, yeah, I
"See,
mean,
Charlena, then
I've
that
seen
maybe
that.
my self trust
I've
has
done
been proven."
I've done things like that. Listen, I've thrown my fishing hook out there before too, Coach K. I mean,
Yeah.
it
But
happens.
this is what's interesting, Brandon. And I'm just, we could talk all night. We're not going to. But what's fascinating to me is, okay, I'm going to pick this word up and throw it over there and see if she picks it up. But they will do everything except the one thing that you're actually asking for. Now you want to distract, they will distract you with all these other temporary love bombing tactics, because they don't want to just take the straight road to exactly what you said was required to be with you. And I have learned at way too late of an age that if you're a good catch, they will know it and not change anything they're doing. Just
Mhm.
try to keep you there because they know you're a good catch and they don't really want you to be available to other people. And whatever form that means, it could be the number of times they reach out so that they stay in your head. And so while there's one group of men like you, like how you're describing yourself to be, where you did put your all, whatever, there are some people that they don't move with the same intentions. That's why the self trust is so important, because when I read that, there not absolutely nothing happened in here, And I mean, I was in love with this person. So my new thing is, Charlena, I want somebody needs to love me like I love, or else I can be by
Mhm,
myself.
mhm,
I
mhm,
know how to have a great time alone
mhm,
in every
mhm,
way.
mhm,
Okay.
So I have something to say because I think as to what you're saying as far as throwing the L word, it could work two ways, and that's the thing. But it's more so when women are watching, because if I'm not mistaken, it's about what you hear a lot of times when it comes to women. But when it comes to guys, you can actually see the intention when it comes to their actions. So let's just say hypothetically, because I've somewhat been in that situation. Let's just say he threw the L word. He said he's going to therapy. Let's play devil's advocate. Let's say he's actually doing the things that you said, and obviously, you have to see how that will work. But if he's intentional, you will see the change and you will see the consistency. Because the biggest thing when it comes to a man, when you'll know if they're not playing the game, is the consistency of what they said they want to do and the
mhm,
intention about it. Because a lot of times we get complacent. So if it's not something that we want, we're gonna let it fall by the wayside. If it's
Yep.
something we want, we're gonna go get it, and you're gonna see the
Yep.
actions put behind it. So when you say he threw the L word, he's going to therapy, obviously it's more so, okay, if that's who you want or if that's what you kind of on the fence about, see how it plays out. I'm not saying you got to go, oh yeah, we're all cool, but you see how it plays. If he really wants you, no one else is really going to be there because his mind is made up that he wants you, and that's when you know a man had loved you unconditionally, because they're going to do whatever they need to get you and keep you, not just to get you. Okay, I got you. I'm gonna go back to the same thing, and that's the thing that you don't know. And I think even when it comes to what we was talking about, when it comes to the trusting someone, when it comes to love, it's really like a crapshoot. Anyone
Hmm.
you deal with, it's a crapshoot of, is this person gonna hurt me or not, and am I
mhm,
willing to gamble on it or not? That's
mhm,
pretty what it's based upon. So when it comes to what you are saying, that's my take on it. Because you can have a man that really is serious and intentional about it, but you can have a man like you said that's just saying it to try to reel you back in because of what you bring, and then they use you. But it all depends on how you feeling, because you can say you don't want that, and all depends on his actions.
That's really good. And I think that it goes back to what I was saying to Brandon, though. Both people, the man and the woman in the beginning, it's just an interview. And I mean, like,
And
for a while. Now, if you can handle yourself sexually, then maybe you are having sex with them, right? And you're both agreeing, we're not totally like locking this up. We're seeing what happens. Because I do believe that in 90 days, everybody shows something. There's going to be an offhanded comment. There's going to be an appearance
Hmm.
somewhere. There's going to be something they say or do in public. And my work as a single woman this year has been to get clean enough in every way, no physical contact, nothing, so that I can move with more patience and be more at, oh, I'm sorry, and get more clarity around um, deal breakers in terms of mentality. And I don't want to pivot too far because that goes into part two of our conversation. But I have come to believe, whether true or not, that there are certain mentalities that show up within people. And for example, if a woman is, all the talk is the same. Women talking about providers, they ain't really trying to work, they want the soft life, the things like that. If that's what a woman is after, and you are not a man who wants to provide that, she will tell on herself in the first 90 days. She will present some type of issue, or there's something that will occur. And then if a man knows he doesn't want to be that for her, he can respectfully, if he's got some sense, I know a lot of them won't do it, but he will back up. I don't care how fine she is, I don't care how fat her ass is or whatever. Once she shows she's on something, if he's looking for something serious and he sees that in her, there's no more conversation about you changing or me. If you're not a provider type in the ways that matter to me, there's no reason for me to continue to date you. Because if I do, all I'm going to do every time we sit down and talk, Brandon, I'm going to pull out my list and be like, where we at on this? You don't want to hear that when you know that you ain't that and that you're not going to do any of that. But because people tend to rush in emotionally, they sometimes stop paying attention to the very things that they need to see to say, this isn't for me.
Yeah.
See, Dom left again. He needs to come back, Dom. Tell us when we're. I think we're
mhm.
off track from the questions and whatever in the part two.
I'm here. I'm here. Let's go on to
Oh gosh.
part two. Let's go on to
Oh, that
part
was
two.
terrible.
So what's the questions that you have? This is
Okay.
gonna be pretty interesting.
I didn't know you finished that. So
You hear the bottle pouring up?
I'm filling up for this part. Okay. This is circa 2019, by the way. Chateau La Nether. Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yeah, I can't read it or I would. Wait a minute. No, I thought it said Amsterdam. So the question I was asking is, what are the sexual obligations in a relationship? How do we view the sexual responsibility? I don't like using the word responsibility or obligation, etc. Expectations. I wanted to get somewhere more positive. And I say this because I was reading these different comments online. Oh, it was a girl, a friend of mine, somebody I know on Instagram, and she posts her marriage like black happy black couple or whatever, power couple, couple goals, all that. And she posted this. It was a skit almost of how my husband acts the morning after he got some, and then how he acts the morning after he didn't get any. Right? It was meant to be a joke. Like the morning after, if he got some, he's like, "Ooh, baby, yes, you want some bacon with these eggs?" He's doing all that, right? He all in it. And then the morning after, he's like barely giving her a kiss on his way into the kitchen. And so people in comments are laughing and clearly very triggering for whoever, whatever man was in a relationship where he wasn't getting none, and whatever woman was in a relationship where she felt like she had to do it. All of them were like this. And so it got, and I was on the other side of that, dealing not the my most recent partner, but in my marriage a long time, feeling very obligated, even though I'm not getting any personal care and attention that I need. I felt very obligated to participate willingly sexually at multiple times a week, which may or may not sound like a lot, but when you're not into this person, they're not loving you right. I've never admitted this publicly, but I can do it now, and I'm not going to cry or anything. But I had to be inebriated, and he would give me the drugs and the alcohol so that I could be in the mood to perform. This was throughout most of a 19-year marriage. Okay. And he was not loud and aggressive in any kind of outer way, or you better. I was not Cassie. That's not what I'm saying. Okay. But I am saying I felt pressure because I would hear some of the same stuff that I read in that thread, which was at least he's not in the street. Oh, but then if his work wife wants some, then you'll be mad at him for cheating, as if I am responsible for his fidelity because I'm performing or not performing, but there's never any pressure on his end to treat her right, man. All she's asking for is a date, some attention, put some sweat into her birthday. Like at this point, I realized I was really asking for very basic, like basic shit. Stop cheating, okay? Pay attention to me. Stop giving me flowers every time you fucked up. Like, do it because you love me one day. It was like very basic. It's too embarrassing to the point where I've decided I'm not, unless somebody sees it on these YouTube channels, I'm never gonna bother sharing all this because it makes me look really stupid, and I have my reasons for that. But the question is, how do you handle the sex in a relationship? Is it right for men to have the attitude? Because here's what one guy commented. But then you want him to pay the bills. Basically, he felt like if I'm a provider and I'm paying some or all of her bills, she should drop it like it's hot whenever I want. And it's one thing to have that thought, y'all. I get that. It's one thing to have that thought, but it's another thing to bring that energy into the relationship of you need to drop it every time because I pay these bills. And then it also, and then I'm done talking, it shows you don't care if she's checked in or not. You don't care if she's checked into the sexual experience. You just want her body, basically, which is what some of us who are on this side end up feeling like. You don't care about me. You just care about my body. And here's my example, and I'm putting the talking stick down. When I was married, I can remember sitting in the room with my ex-husband, and he was sitting across the room from me. He hadn't talked to me all day, paid me no attention whatsoever, and he was on his phone. And he put his phone down, and he turned, and he just looked at me, and it was all in his eyes. I wonder if she'll give it up tonight. You ain't said shit to me all day, but now you're one. And if I'm not interested, then the whole guilt and shame thing will come about. Well, why am I? If I'm married, I should have open access, like all that kind of stuff. So I just dropped a lot, but I want to know what you guys think.
Who wants to go first?
That was a mouthful. Ren.
Don't you look at me. No.
What are the
You see, I didn't
expectations
say
of y'all?
nothing.
What are your expectations
I'm a,
of your partner sexually? Do you care if she's interested in doing it or not? Or do you just expect that because I'm monogamous to you or trying to be, you need to give it to me all the time because I might run out in these streets?
So you want to speak for us, or do you want to speak
I'm just
on
saying,
the
you can speak
gentleman?
in
Because that
general. You can speak in
no, I'm
general,
talking about
Bob.
the
You don't have to tell
gentleman that situation, how that transpired.
whatever you want to say.
I think just being realistic when it comes to guys, when it comes to the expectations of intimacy, um, it is important, but where you got to understand, kind of like guys and women are completely different. You know, you guys are more emotional, we're more physical. So it's like we could want sex, more when it's like sometimes, I have to be in the mood. I have to be touched. I have to be this. Where, for us, like we could be sleep. You touch, we ready to go. Like, okay, cool. Like it's no, it's no, pretty
Mhm.
much layers to
if
it.
I
You get what
look
I'm
at you the
saying?
wrong way, it's like, yeah,
Yeah. And it's just like that's what we want, but it's also kind of finding that balance to where understanding that some women like it's certain needs to get them there. Or they can't just be ready, when or when it comes to that, you may be ready to do it and give me saying this, but they may be dry because they not turned on. It's just like you have to work up to it because some women are just ready to go like that and some women aren't. So it's just understanding that. But I think as it turns as it turns when it comes to men, I would definitely say kind of alluded to what Brandon said. Men want what they want. So, like how he alluded to when he talked about the woman that he wanted, even though someone else could be doing this and someone else could be doing that, and there are better options. Unfortunately, when you are in love or whatever the case is, that's what you want. That's the drug I want. Besides of
Mhm.
anything when you're in love, so it is different layers too. But just talking about sex in general, guys, we want it, and it's just like that's the expectation. But I don't think that it has to be something that's talked about when it comes to male and a female, as far as, hey, this is what turns me on, this is what I want. And like you said, don't expect me to just jump when you want it when you ain't said nothing. Like the person gotta be intimate or intimacy. Like I think I want to say I was listening to Patrick Kenyon, he said intimacy you see. So
Mhm.
intimacy is into me,
Mhm.
you see. So it's like it's just breaking it down. That's the way as far as being intimate. That's the way as far as when it comes to guys, how we're ready, how we're wired, and compared to how a woman is wired when it comes to sex.
Let me add one quick thing in there. So I wanted to add when you're talking about the men loving unconditionally, because there are a lot of men out here who are just using. It's not
Mhm.
unconditional love. They will stay because they're benefiting from the relationship. Because I, as a now a divorcee myself, have multiple divorced friends, and for the most part, nobody regrets their divorce. It's not he was not loving them, okay, and they got tired of saying it over and over and over again. But they were, so I'm in my 50s. These are like marriages from the 20s, decisions you made in your 20s based on who you were at that time. Now fast forward, 25 years or whatever, we're all living more in the truth now, which is why a lot of these relationships, long-term relationships, are failing. It's not a good thing. I mean, it's not a bad thing. It tends to be, it can be a good thing. But so I'm just saying that there are, I question now, have some of those men, maybe they've never even really been in love because they definitely didn't love her
So,
unconditionally.
so
But there's
okay,
always stuff you don't know what was really happening, all the
no,
time.
so to what you said, and that's why I say it boils down to the woman that man loved, right? So you can be with a lot of people. You could say you love, but you don't know you really love until, I'm gonna say for me, I didn't know what real love was until my heart was broken, right?
Mm.
And that was at a later age. And then when I really think about it, like from growth, is more so like, dang. So when I look at the different situations I've been in, I didn't really have a love for them like that. You get what I'm saying? So to we want what we want, and it's unfortunate, but when we think that we're in love, we're not. And then when you start to see growth in a man, and they start to admit their mistakes, and they start to see the things that they do, that's the growth, and that's when you start to understand. Okay, this person is understanding himself, but not only that, he must have been hurt because he understands, what it feels like. And a lot of times, I think for me, when I was younger, I didn't know what it was like to be hurt. So yes, I was hurting women. And like I said, like kind of alluded to what Brandon said, like you feel bad after, the situation, but until you've been hurt, it's different. And I think when it comes to women, like, and I'm gonna just say my experience when it comes to high school, I didn't really have girlfriends. I was doing my thing, playing sports, whatever, but I didn't have no girlfriend. And I would hear girls in the sense, oh, I'm in love. So it's like women get heartbreak early. So you guys know after heartbreak, where as far as some guys don't experience heartbreak until 30s, unfortunately. And then when that happens, it kind of like, dang, I need to chill out. Or you start to really have like a come to Jesus moment, like, dang, I've been doing this whole time. Let me just kind of sit back. Let me reevaluate my life and the things that I've done. Because obviously it was a cause and effect.
Hmm. Yeah. Which is,
Okay.
yep. I
Um,
I I definitely agree with you on that one, bro. And I do think there's a certain expectation as far as that goes. I mean, I was never I wasn't married, but I mean, I guess you can say I was somewhat married, and but my expectations always came from my situation. You know what I'm saying? Like, so if my kid's mother was, up cooking all day and chasing behind the kids, and I've been at work all day, it's certain things I didn't expect because I knew what was going on. You know what I'm saying? Now there is, now if it got too crazy, now we gotta have a conversation because, I still
mhm.
need what I need, but I think there is an expectation, and there should be on both ends. Like, I mean, it should be, but at the same time, that's why I don't want to say, how can I say this?
Just
We're
say it.
we're able to go from this zone to this zone to this zone to this zone to this zone because our feelings don't set in as fast as y'all's, like Dominic was saying. So where y'all experience heartbreak so early, like he said, I didn't experience my first heartbreak till I was 33 years old. You get what I'm saying? By this time I had done so, I've left, like I've left a trail at this point. You know what I mean? So, like it's it's a little bit different for us because we know the things that y'all gotta go through in order to be comfortable with the man to have sex or anything of that nature. But that's why that's why that's why it looks so differently when y'all cheat, right? As opposed to when we cheat, right? You get what I'm saying? It's so much harder for us to take y'all back after y'all cheat because of the things you have to do to feel comfortable with the man to unveil yourself and take your clothes off. We don't have to feel that same comfort. You
Mhm,
get what
Mhm.
I'm saying?
mhm,
So it's so
mhm,
much
That was
easier for
good.
us to to
mhm,
to pull that thing out of the front of our boxers and go for it. Whereas you women, you know what I mean, you're so like you have to be
mhm,
comfortable with this man. You get what
Mm.
I'm
You
saying?
say
So
there was a wooing that took place or something like that for us to just do it. There
it
had to
hits
be more
Hmm.
different.
involved.
Hmm.
I
It hits
never
Hmm.
heard that
it
before.
hits
Never
completely
heard that
different. It
before.
hits completely different. That's why, and I'm going to say this not just because I know this, but from fucking personal experience. I do not believe a man can fully take a woman back after she cheats if he understands what it took for her to do that.
To get to that
Because
place.
most
Hmm.
women, not all women, but most women are not
mhm,
promiscuous like that. Most women do not just jump around from hat to hat to hat to hat. Now you do got a couple of them that can do it with no feelings. I've met a few, I know a few, and
Hmm.
but 90% of women, most women can't do that. So when they do unveil themselves and as I like to call it, let another man in the temple, you get what I'm saying? It
mhm,
hits completely different. It feels
mhm.
completely different. So no, as a man, that woman cheats on you, you do not take her back. I know that was not the question, but I just want to throw that out there. You get what I'm saying?
Mm,
But
mm,
like I said,
That makes so much sense.
we are completely different on on the scales of expectations and sex and all that stuff. Men will go out and cheat. Like I know guys that will go. I know guys that have cheated. I've been a guy that's cheated. You get what I'm saying? I've been a guy that's cheated, and I was fully in love with the woman I was over there. Now that may not make sense to women. You get what I'm saying?
Right.
That may not make
Right.
sense to women, but it makes
That's
sense to
okay.
me. You get what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
It makes sense to me and it makes sense to most men. But it wasn't because I
Mm-hmm.
loved her no less or anything like that. I just wasn't getting what I desired, and my love was so unconditional. I ain't going nowhere. Bill's still gonna be paid. I'm still gonna make sure you groomed and you nice. And when you ready to come home to me, come on. You know what I'm saying? I'm still gonna make sure the kids is right and everything is good. And that's how I looked at it when I was doing the crazy
Wait,
shit
slow
that I
down,
was doing.
Brandon.
Not that
So
it was
you
right,
said,
but
but Brandon, wait a
Yeah.
minute. Wait a
what?
minute. You
Can
said
can I say a
yes.
caveat? So only thing I want to say a caveat is that does not mean it's right.
No,
I just want to
that's where I
say
was
that.
going.
I
That's what I was
don't
about
Yeah,
to
hear
say.
him
he's
It
saying
don't
it's
mean
right.
none of
I
that
don't
right.
hear
shit.
him
None of
He's
that
saying
not
shit was
saying
cool.
that.
I don't
Okay.
hear him saying it's right. But what
No.
I want to say
Okay.
is when you say I'm not going anywhere, but if you're cheating, you dropped your drawers over here, you are gone somewhere. That
It's
No,
that
he's not. It's just
no
his
no
dick
no
is gone.
for a
No,
moment,
no.
for a moment.
no
Wait,
no
listen,
I
listen,
No.
listen, and
I
it
It's
hear
always
what
really
brings me
y'all are
back to this.
saying.
it's just
It
his dick that's gone. That's
it
it.
listen.
But
To
It
the
me you're
whole
always
gone.
brings me
essence of
back
To
to
who
me
he
you're
this,
is.
gone.
right?
To me you're gone.
Okay,
No, see,
and
that's
that
because you're looking at
right.
it from a female perspective.
But
But he's
There
exactly,
you
telling
and
go.
most
you,
females will see, and
right.
most females will see it like that. But I'm gonna tell you something. This is something that I heard this from a brother that's been married 50 something odd years. Get what I'm saying? Me and him were having a conversation, and he's like, I've been married to my wife 50 something odd years, man. He's like, I've seen other titties, you know what I'm saying? Like I've done my thing, but you know what? He said one thing, the reason why my wife never left me is because none of that shit ever came home with me.
Yeah.
She never had to worry about nothing. There was never a lack of food, and she was never lacking anywhere from me. That was his take, and that kind of set with me because I thought about that, and I'm like, is that why we take it so tough when a woman does it? Because we're protecting and providing, right? We're protecting, we're providing, we're going out, we're working, we're giving our all. We come back, and then you're out with Joe Schmo. And I think that's one of the reasons why we take it so tough when you do it. And we expect you guys, not that it's right, but we expect you guys to understand why we do it. You get, well, not understand, but
So
accept it. You
So
know what I
so
mean?
while I hear you say that, and that's the perspective that a lot of men have, there are some women such as me, like my issue, and while I completely understand where a man is coming from and how it's different for a man than it is for a woman, but that whole respect thing that you would feel was taken away, was devalued, like I would feel the same way. Like I don't
Right.
want any woman out there being like, I had your nigga. Like
Hmm.
no, 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 no. So that's a me thing. Like,
Yeah.
but so while a man would say, "Oh yeah, it was just baby, it was just a dick. She don't mean nothing to me," and da 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 da. But now it's a respect thing because I don't want any woman when it comes to my relationship with my man to be able to say shit.
It's I get what you're saying,
And while
and I
and you guys
understand it.
feel the same way.
But
You guys
right,
feel
right,
the
right, right,
exact
right.
same
But
way.
the
You don't want any
but the
man to be like,
difference
"Oh, I had your bitch."
but the difference is, right, and I'm gonna say this, and this gonna sound crazy, right? Right. And this is just how some men think. You say that to me, you gotta go. You
Oh, okay.
Which which
Oh,
which
like
which which
we
which part?
we
Which part,
we
Brandon?
about to
Which
scrap
part?
about that. Like we about to scrap
if
about
what?
that if a man say
No,
something
Which
like that to
part?
me.
if I said to you, I don't want some other woman being able to say, "Oh, I had your man." You tell me I gotta go. I mean, I
No,
would
no,
go
no,
on my
no, no,
own,
no,
but
That's
no,
what
is
I'm
no,
that what?
no,
saying.
no,
Which
no,
part?
no. I said
Clarify.
I
Which
I
part?
said if a man came up and said that to me,
Oh
like if he
yeah,
came,
I had
or
your woman.
you
yeah.
you might
yeah.
have to go. You
Oh
might have to
yeah.
Okay.
I
go.
get
You might have
exactly.
to go.
Brandon.
I would
It
Brandon.
ain't
understand
gonna be
that.
no, it ain't gonna be no me taking it back to her. Like y'all gonna come back to us like, can you believe she said that? Da, da, da. No, pick me up from the precinct.
Okay, Brandon, let me say this before I forget to say this the right way. You're saying it means something different when a man cheats. I've actually believed that philosophy until today. Okay. My father was a cheater. I've been cheated on in every relationship. I started to normalize it and desensitize it because I was like, whatever. It didn't even register enough for me to say, I don't care about that because he does these. I just was like, whatever. I think I was dead to it. But when you say it means something different when a man cheats, what it's another
I'm not saying
attempt,
it
I
means
believe that.
something different.
No, no,
And
no.
it's
That's
Let
just
and
me
it's
all
let me
not.
let me
wrong.
let me
That's
He's
all
let
not
me
wrong.
justifying.
remessage it back. I'm not
He's
saying
not
he's
Okay.
justifying
justifying
it. I'm
it.
not saying he's
Okay.
justifying it. Let me get my point out. I'm not saying he's justifying it. Just let me say it like I'm saying it. I'm saying that to make it seem like it's harder for a man to accept because you feel like if we cheated, we had to have given something emotionally first. That's what you said,
Mhm.
right, Brandon? What I want
Oh
men
yeah,
to
sure.
understand is that even if a man is just doing the physical act, see, Charlene and I are two of the most half men, women that you could have on this show. Like we were raised strong by our daddies. We think with the masculine side, we had to work towards the feminine side. So I get it. And I could run the streets right now like a straight nigga. I really could. I'm capable of some treachery, okay? I'm sitting in this house on purpose, okay? What I'm saying is this. Just like you're saying that that the woman shouldn't care. It's almost like men say, you're not saying this, Brandon, but men will make it seem like their cheating is not as bad because it was just some dick. Because women are built emotionally, we feel that shit emotionally. It Who gives a fuck? I don't
Mhm.
care
Mhm.
that you were over here and it didn't mean anything to you.
Mhm.
That shit meant something to me. That shit
Mhm.
broke me the fuck down.
Mhm.
Every
Mhm.
woman who's been cheated on is now saying, damn, was I not enough? Was I not giving it up enough? Did I not dress sexy enough? And it's not about her. And that's true. It's a defect in him that he didn't feel adequate enough in what we had, that he's out here doing all these things. So it still turns into another form of gaslighting. Man, don't tell me it's raining when you're pissing on my shoe. Like when it really comes down to your poor impulse control, or
Well,
maybe
so
you
so
didn't
no
really
no
want to
no,
be
Cara.
locked down. Maybe you didn't really want to be locked down, but you did it because you liked me enough and you weren't really fully ready to fully commit. All I'm saying is I don't think we should separate this anymore and
No,
say
no,
men
no. I
cheating
think we
is
should.
worse or better
No,
than
it's
because
that's
it's
not the
different.
point. It's not the point of which is better and which one is worse. It's just what drives us to that point is different, or how it impacts us is different. It's just
But we're
different.
also talking about what he said though is we're also talking about women tolerating it more and we rebound better from it. But see what Brandon may not realize, and I can say this because we're strangers,
Well,
whatever situation he walked into where he got his heart broken, her shit was already crushed before you came in. She had not done enough
Facts.
healing work on
That's
herself,
facts.
and so she was guarded. See, we're talking about where Brandon got his guard from. it,
mhm.
it came, was coming
Oh yeah,
out of that
most
situation,
definitely.
but he fell in love with somebody who herself was
Right.
not healed from her
Hmm.
situation, and so she felt like he probably just like the rest of them, and so because she didn't give herself all the way to it, it was easy for her to do whatever and not be fully
Hmm.
invested in a
Hmm.
relationship herself.
Hmm.
So it's a
Hmm.
cycle.
Hmm. 100%. 100%. So
Okay, I
before
would
listen,
go ahead. Go ahead. Go ahead.
so we can come back to this, but I want to get back to um the transactional relationship, the expectations of sex, and I want to get to that point.
That's true because I
So
didn't respond to Dom on that. His Dom sound like he's just saying we just need it, we just because we're men, as if
so
women don't
no,
have
no.
sex
And no,
drive.
no, no. This is the thing that I'm challenged by in women. Women don't seem to understand the physiological need that men have for sex. This isn't just, oh, he just wants it all the time. I don't know why he wants it all the time. No, they're made differently. It goes back to the animal kingdom. They have to be able to produce. It's how they're made, it's their makeup, it's their build. So whether you like it or not, you've got to accept that that's how it is. You've got to accept that it is a fact. Now, in terms of women, for the most part, we are made differently. We are made it's not as physiological, it's not a basic physiological need. We have other needs that tend to be our primary needs as women. And In a relationship, there needs to be mutual understanding of the basic needs that we have as men and women. If you're going to be in a relationship, you need to know what needs to be stroked for your woman to give it up to you. And as a woman, you need to have an understanding that physiologically, my man needs this. Should there be an expectation? I believe absolutely yes, there should be an expectation. There should be an expectation that your needs are met in your relationship. I believe that if you are with someone and you want to be in a monogamous relationship with that person, now if you choose to have an open relationship, then y'all can do whatever you want to do. But if it's a monogamous relationship, I believe that you need to understand that there are needs that each partner has, and you're the only person that can give it to them. You're the only person that can fulfill that need, that physical need that your man
Partner.
has. As a
Period.
man, you're the only person that can meet and fulfill some of those emotional needs that your woman has. And if you understand that as a foundation, and if you truly love the person that you're with and you want them to be happy,
You gonna
then
do it.
you're going to do it. At the same time, come on, let's just be real. S- Sometimes, listen, we do shit that we don't want to do all the time. It's because you go to work every day and there's shit that you do all the time that you don't want to do, that you don't feel like doing. That I'm not just talking about a woman giving up some pussy. I'm talking about a man meeting the needs and the emotional needs of your woman, or meeting her security needs, meeting her whatever her needs are. So it's not just about the giving up of sex. Should we feel entitled? If you're in a if you're in a monogamous relationship, you should feel entitled, or I'll say, yeah, you should. If you're in a
Yeah.
loving, monogamous relationship, there are expectations I have of my husband. Yes, you better fucking believe I do. But he has expectations of me too. And because I love him, okay, there times, so,
No,
contrary
she
to
wants to do it every time. Don't even
contrary
let
to
her
what
finish
some
this
people
point.
believe.
No, don't even
Okay,
let her finish this point because it's about to get dirty.
so yeah,
She wants to do. He is not asking as much as she is offering, but that's because she's all the way in love.
so
So she likes
right,
to
it's
be
because
to
I,
have that connection.
full transparency here. I was married to someone that I wasn't in love with, and we did not have a healthy regular sex life. But that had a lot to do with my connection with
With
him. I'm
him. Yeah.
experiencing something totally different in my marriage. When I was dating my husband, when we first started dating and we first started to get physical, I laid out what my expectation was. I'm like, look, I need it at least this many times a week. And I just look, you're that person. And if you want to be that person, this is what my expectation is. This is what my need is. What is yours? So I think it's very basic and simple. Meet your partner's needs. If you love your partner, seek to meet their needs first. And if you're with the person who's choosing to be the right person and they're in the same place, they're going to be seeking to meet your needs as well. It's kind of that simple.
Yep. Don't love me how
Mm,
you want to be loved. Love me how I want to be loved.
And we
okay,
have an
and that's a whole
obligation to
nother.
tell them how we need to be loved.
Well, also
Exactly.
they should be. We should be asking each other though. See, for
Other,
me,
right.
I am
Hmm.
so happy
Yes.
single. If I can't date somebody where we can have open conversation about how do you like to be loved, I
Mhm.
want to do that early because it could be that I'm
Yes.
not that girl, and I don't
Yes.
want to
Early
waste your time. Like
on.
especially like I have a list. Okay, if you're a smotherer and you want to be on the phone all day and on, it's certain things I'm not going to be able to do. So we
Mhm.
don't even need to continue. But and also you shouldn't want a partner that wants things you don't want to do. You don't want to do it, but damn, she fine, and this, that, and the third, because it's going to be constant friction. It should. I feel Charlena's happily partnered, repartnered now, so maybe she would disagree. But I feel that for me, what would be ideal is finding somebody who loves more naturally how I want to be loved. It's not a force for them to show
Right.
me love in that way. So let's
Exactly.
use the touch one because men love to say their top love language is quality touch, which I hear it, but
It's
it's
not.
almost triggering for me now. But it's
It's
not,
Right.
not.
and it shouldn't be because a lot of men are masking their problems with the touch. But we ain't going there today. What I'm saying
Hmm.
is whatever you naturally want, it needs to be something that, for the most part, that's what I do. That's what I do.
Yes.
So
It's
then we're
not a
going
lot
to
of
have a
work for
lot.
me.
It's going to be a lot less abrasion
Mm-hmm.
because you love these affirmation, and
Mhm.
I'm constantly like, baby, you look good today. You were
Mm-hmm.
fantastic. I
Mm-hmm.
watched your live and it was great. I'm not forcing that. Like, damn, Brandon said I got to go on here watch this live because I'm not supportive. That's hard. You know what I'm
Right.
saying? And I
Mm-hmm.
think, and to me, all of that ties into the sex. Like Charlena's saying, coming out of a sexless marriage, now she's dropping it like it's hot all the time. So those are signals that
Mhm.
also seriously that men should have, because my feeling is right now, hell, if I force myself to do it 3 times a week with a nigga I didn't even love, okay, what and who
Mm-hmm.
didn't love me, I'm gonna be in here. I need to work out more so I can be ready for this next part. I can do it tonight. Listen, one other thing I wrote down before you switch and go. I wanted to say this, Don, because you mentioned this, was that okay. Oh, I wrote it down this piece of paper. Y'all, this is so good. The preheating a woman. Okay, I wanted to add in this, and I want you all to hear this from me and the entire audience. And I'm not gonna reveal Charlena's age, but obviously we are seasoned women of age, right? We're actually at an age where they claim we have problems with certain things. Okay. That baby, I have none of those problems. Okay. I thought I had a low libido, but all I needed was a divorce. Okay. This is my point.
Talk to him.
The woman should never be dry. That period. If there's a whole nother conversation, it's like put the clothes back on. We need to have a whole nother chat, because it's happened to me more than once. I was coming out of a bad relationship in college, and I knew I was done when he was pushing all the same buttons. Nothing was happening. My body was done here. My body was like, we don't, you may in your mind think you still want to be here, but we're done. This shop is closed. And I remember him saying, y'all, damn, it's just not as good as it used to be. And I was like, pick up my bag and
You know, we get like that too.
yes, men absolutely can. Men
We get like
absolutely
that too.
can. They
It was
absolutely
a
can.
point
They
I was getting
absolutely
when
can.
it was a point I felt like I had to go to. I'm 32 years old. I'm
Mm-hmm.
going to the doctor trying to see if I got a problem. So we go through listen, we go through the same thing too.
But that's
That's
why
how I
you
knew it
got to
was
know
done
that
myself too. Yeah, it was.
you need to
Let
know
me just
what
throw this
turns
in
that
there.
person on. You
I,
deserve to know what turns a person on early in the dating relationship. And frankly, if he gives me at this big age, if he gives me a list of totally direct sexual things, baby, you've told me a lot just right there. Because I need a man who's turned on by conversation. And there are men. See, because I was with someone who was so sexually charged and did that was all they thought about. When I started dating somebody who was more mental, I realized there are men out there who connect with banter, great conversation. They want to hear that you actually can entertain intelligent talk, and that you're not just out here on some very shallow foolishness. So I know it can be the same for men.
Yeah.
yeah, there are things things outside of physical touch that should make the
Bring it
dick
down.
hard.
Calm down, Charlena. She
Mhm.
Well,
loves talking dirty.
so
I don't know if
so
you're
no,
ready
I
for this,
just
Dom, but she's very dirty.
so anyway,
I never saw this side of her until she married this man, though. See, so
That's a good man there then.
he is.
What else can you say? Shit.
No, let me add this because you said a woman should never be dry. Let me just add this in here. This is
she's a nurse as well, so she's coming
Don
with
and
the medical. I
Brandon.
can
You
see
guys are
it.
nowhere near this stage, but if a woman is menopausal, that is something that can cause vaginal dryness. However, if you are not menopausal and your coochie's not getting wet, there's a problem.
I don't have any problems with that, and I declare right now into the universe
So
that
and
that will
and
never be,
and
that
yes,
will
and
never
so
be, there will never be any problems like
one
that over
one of
here.
one of my
Where is
really
this
good
going?
listen, one of my really good friends, my really good guy friends, we were talking about this woman that he was seeing, and we talked very openly, and I had to ask him. He was saying, well, yeah, da 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 da. I'm like, well, are you into her? He's like, I think I am. And I said, well, I'm like, when you're with her, does your dick get hard? And he just kind of paused. And I said, and the fact that he paused, I said, well, you're not, something ain't right there. You're not feeling her the way that you should. Cause just being around her, if she's doing it for you, and I'm not a man, I don't know. Am I right?
I can't agree
So
with that. No,
yeah, I gotta
I
say
can't
something.
agree with that one. No, I can't
Okay.
agree with that. Now, maybe when I was like 13, 14, this motherfucker just be randomly hard for no reason. But no, I don't. No,
But
I
no,
can't agree with
I'm
that.
saying if you're no, he's involved with this woman. They're engaging with each other.
He's saying sexual energy. There should be some sort of
Yeah, there
sexual
was
tension
no
that she
like
should be
sex.
feeling something.
He wasn't
So
getting aroused by interacting with her, and they're cuddling on the sofa watching a movie or whatever. Like nothing was working.
so Brandon, let me. How long you got till practice over?
Practice is over. Go ahead, brother.
W-
Okay, we'll be on for like another 10 minutes. Okay, so
Okay.
real
Oh,
quick to
okay.
caveat, I think it has to do with one, as men grow, I'll say as men grow and they start to value and understand their worth, it's
mhm,
certain things that you're not gonna put, like someone that you could be someone that's really nice looking and they can have
mhm,
a body and all that, we can walk right past them because that's not where our mindset is. You got to do something that's going to be either stimulating, or if you got someone that's business minded, you got to be able to talk about something. You got to be able to bring something to the table. Whereas if you're not, it's like I'm trying to build something. I'm not about to be carrying you while I'm building it. So it's certain things that could turn a man on. That will
mhm.
turn
Ooh.
me off because it's
Right,
just like
right.
if it's someone that you could be pretty, but you always on social media, you always doing this shit. Like just to me, that's a turn off because my
Mhm,
mindset is okay. Business, I got all these different things that I'm trying to do, and that's not where my mindset is. So if you can bring that to the table, and like you was talking about when it comes to supporting and all that stuff, because for men, we like to be appreciated. So if you're not
mhm,
supporting, not doing that, and we know our value, kick rocks. Because at the end of the day, that's not going to turn me on. I'm going to keep it
Or,
moving. And if go ahead.
or,
or go ahead,
or if you
Brandon.
don't kick rocks, I'll call you when I want to.
See, Brandon is see this. Brandon is exact. I've dated you already, Brandon. I don't think you were in your state at that
I'm
time,
just,
but
I'm just saying.
but no, but you know what? Everything, but I just hear everything you're saying. But what I was thinking, Dom, I was so distracted. I was thinking to myself, I think I'm gonna have to go younger when I start dating next year. See,
Don't
the
you do it.
older men. I wish we could have a thing where there's younger men and older men together because what I'm finding is that a lot of them are very unhealed, like damaged. And then also, the men in our generation, by and large, don't do any type of therapy at all. They're not on here. They're not listening to this. They're so full. The toxic men. There's good men, and I choose to focus on that and believe in that. But there's an overwhelming number of toxic men who tune all this out and they just keep repeating the same gaslighting lyrics like it's a song, and that's what and I think they go to younger women who are more likely to believe that because they done ran through all of us. We're burned out. We don't want to hear it anymore. And so I'm thinking it would be great revenge for me to go and get me, yes, that's my girl Renee, go get me a younger man, even if just for a year. I don't know. Now he got to
Get
have
out of here,
kids
Renee.
already, but I'm just saying. He don't want me to do it. He don't want me to do it. But I'm just saying here, and let me say this. I know it sounds funny, and I am saying that as a joke, but I have until we first met the first time, I hadn't talked to men this emotionally intelligent, especially because we met the first time, Dom. I was still in a relationship with someone who has made decisions to close those doors, and I was just still dealing with it. But I don't know men my age who think about what you're talking about, Brandon. They actually stayed in that relationship for 20 plus years, even in spite of all that. They dealing with dry, you know what, all the time. Like the KY is
No, they
not
don't.
just for a fun night, okay? That's for every day. So
Mhm,
they're coming out of that like they're running from a war torn country, okay? And they
And
ain't running to therapy. They're running to the street and they're constantly running the lies and the gaslighting. I've just made an intentional decision to ignore it and tune it out because I don't want to attract any more of it. But I'm just saying you guys are just very emotionally intelligent and aware, and
mhm.
it's just refreshing.
Yeah, we said that, shared that with you, Dom, the first time that I met you, and
And Brandon wasn't on then. Now you see
Brandon wasn't
Brandon.
on.
It's awesome
Yeah.
too.
So thank you, Brandon, for your I love openness and transparency. So thank you so much. And then just the self awareness. It's it's such a beautiful gift. It's so what's the word, it's inspiring is what it is,
It is.
because because you guys have the opportunity to talk to these younger men, and it's the younger men that are dating my daughter and my nieces, and all of that, so it gives us hope
This
that
this this ain't like it's not easy. It's not
no,
easy to get
I
up
think I
here.
said that at the beginning. It ain't
Well, no,
easy when you
no,
do the
I'm
work and
just
talk
saying
about
like it's
what.
yeah, it's not easy to do the work. It's not easy
Hmm.
to explain your process because everybody's process is different. None of this,
Different.
none of this that me and Dominique do. I don't know about Dominique, but every episode I've been on, it hasn't been easy for me to to do that. You get what I'm saying? So it's something that
Mhm.
I'm still working on within myself, and I'm learning how to do that. I'm getting a lot better at it. You know what I mean? And it's it's helping me with my everyday life because now I tell anybody
Mm-hmm.
how I feel. You ain't going. I'm not holding in no feeling for
Mm,
nothing. I'm gonna let you know.
mm.
Better
Okay.
for me to let it go and put it off on you than hold on to it. So,
But Brandon, why
but
shouldn't
it's
I
Well,
go younger? I just want to know. And see, Dom,
uh,
we could be here all night, but you're putting us on a limit. I understand. I just want to
well,
know from
it's Brandon. You
Brandon.
gotta talk
Why
to
shouldn't the
Brandon. You
older
gotta talk
women?
to Brandon.
Well,
Well, how
Brandon,
much younger is
why shouldn't
younger?
older women? Yeah, why shouldn't older women go for the younger guys if they're more
how much
emotionally intelligent and open and not as bruised?
What's your
how much
age?
younger are you talking?
Yeah, how much
Well,
younger?
No,
that depends on what
not your age as far as the guy's age. What
What's the
age? What's the
what's the
age gap?
young what's the young guys you talking?
Oh, you saying what's the age of the guys?
Yeah.
Hmm.
I think it depends on what you're looking for. Okay. That has a lot to do with how young you're going to go. If you're looking like to establish a new relationship, partnership, whatever, well, then for me, I just turned 53 on Friday. He needs to be in his 40s. If we're like going to
Okay.
build something together,
Okay.
he needs,
That's fine. That's
and
Yeah.
fair.
okay,
When
thank
you
you.
said
I
I
just
think I could
wanted
go
your,
younger, and
I
then
was
Renee
thinking
over here talking
30s
about
and
yeah,
or
Coach K. I'm
20s.
thinking like
Yeah.
Coach K finna go get her a YN somewhere. He finna be pulling up with
I'm
the
not,
finna be pulling up
oh,
with the
I'm not
ski
going.
mask on, trying to get a plate to eat.
Well, let me be clear. Let's see. I'm not fixing a plate. I'm not. There's no plates being fixed, so I can't go that young. I did all of that. I'm not going to do that. It would. I was. It would feel like he was my child. But I'm just saying, if you're just looking to have a good time, like if I just want a hot girl summer, I'm going into the 30s. I'm not going to fool with the four
Right, right.
because the 40s are also like post divorce. They're going to want to talk about more whatever unmet needs they had from their marriage. Now they looking to me. I don't know, it depends on what I
Right.
would be looking for at the time. But if I'm
But
just
I
looking
So
was
to
just
have a
messing
great
with you, Coach
summer,
K. Listen, whatever man make you happy, whatever floats
yeah,
your
it
boat,
don't
whatever
matter.
do it
I'm
for you,
all
I
for it.
support you. I'm for it. I was just
Hmm.
a
talking mess
lot,
to you. I was just telling,
yeah.
I was just playing devil's advocate a little bit.
No,
But
I
Renee,
love it.
you got
I love
Renee
it.
over here.
Renee threw
Yeah, she looking for you one
Renee. I
Right
know, but
now.
the thing is,
right now.
oh my gosh, no. I think the
No, we
thing is that the men who are in their 50s also, all the emotional intelligence stuff aside, a lot of men over 50, just like they say they want women who are active or whatever. So I might be on the fluffy side, but baby, I'm active. I hike on the weekends, I backpack, I go camping. I was in a kayak on Saturday, and a lot
Renee,
of
are you
these
getting this bio?
older guys, she knows me. But a lot of these older guys, they don't want to do nothing anymore, especially if they were players when they were young. They just want
A
to be
lot
in
of
the
these older,
house.
a lot of
I,
Okay,
a lot
I,
of
so
I,
older
They want you to
people in general
cook.
are just stuck in their ways, man. You know, they're
that
Yeah.
part.
yes, I don't want to
a
Hmm.
deal
lot,
with that.
And they're
a
My
lot of
life
old.
is just beginning. Oh,
They're
she said she's
old
looking for a
too.
young one herself. You said that?
look,
Look, she's young. Okay, she
right,
ain't old herself, so I guess her young
Well,
is
hold on. Then how, okay, so I'll just speak for myself because I'll say like so if you was talking about me and my early 30s, like 30, 31, and even like mid 20s, I had a good career when it came to like the stuff that I was doing, but at the same time, my mind wasn't wasn't there. Like the person that
Mhm.
I end up, getting with and getting the heartbroken, it was more so I learned to love. I didn't know what love was because of childhood trauma, and I didn't know until I met that person. So if you're dealing
Hmm.
with someone like in either early 30s or 20s, just be careful because you don't know what childhood stuff they dealing with, or if they've dealt with it to begin with. Because it's been a journey for me. I didn't just get here. I got here
That's
from
what I'm saying. Like it
different
was
different
not easy.
heartaches. So when you
Different
saying go
bodies.
young, I was doing my thing. So yeah, you could have was young with me, but I was also, having other things going on because my mindset wasn't thinking like, you know what, I am ready to settle down. I don't want to do this no more. I want to do X, Y, Z. And then you be caught in a situation like, dang, why I get with this young guy? He's still out there running the streets because he's young.
Oh no, Dom,
That's why.
you're misunderstanding me, Dom. We don't really care about any of that. Okay. And that's
Mm,
why I said there's what am I looking for here? The age range,
mm.
if I'm looking to settle down and be serious, is very
Oh,
different
okay,
than if I
okay.
went into the
Then you just
30s.
want to have
Baby, this
fun.
is
Okay, I
going
got you.
nowhere. I would be the one reminding you every day. This is not going anywhere. Stop texting me and calling me. I don't need to know about your day and how you're feeling. See, I'm not providing the wife girlfriend stuff. I'm not asking you about your day. I'm not giving you all this support. We're not building this great friendship. You are here because I just sent you a text. That's
Well,
But
it.
the
Domino, I wouldn't
So
be
but
messing
the
with
hold on,
Coach
hold
K
on,
if
hold
I
on.
was
But
younger.
listen, no, I'm gonna say this. The
Tried to
caveat
give me a
to that is
plate
this
of something.
though.
I can't even get a plate.
you ain't getting no
Damn.
plates, baby.
No,
Because
this
see, the
this the
plate that
caveat.
I done
I'm
went
gonna
wrong
tell
with
you.
that
Oh
before.
man, I'm
I'm
gonna
gonna
share
pretend
some
like I
game.
can't cook shit. You know what I'm gonna give you? Some burnt chicken nuggets that I took from my
But
kids. That
this is the
A
thing
I
though.
can't
stupid.
It
tell you.
it sounds
I can't
good.
show you all that.
It sounds good because I was in a
Definitely do.
situation in my younger days when that happened, and they was preaching that.
I knew
And
it.
for me, I'm like, I'm to the core. Even if I catch feelings, I'm still not gonna let you because of what you said, and I'm gonna abide by your rules. And then on the flip side, she was the one that ended up catching feelings and wanted to do,
And
and
I'm
I'm
gonna
like,
do it worse than you.
And she
no,
was a
And
lot
and
older.
that's
I'm
Hold
gonna
on,
do
slow
it
bold.
down.
worse
She
than
was a
you.
lot
Hey,
And
older.
I'm
that's just how
and I'm
I
gonna do it
am.
worse than you. And
And
I'm
see,
gonna do
because
it worse than
this is
you.
the thing. There's different type of women out there. When I'm speaking of me and an OG like Charlena and a couple other girlfriends I have, man, when you leave Dom, we might be crying our ass off, but you'll never get a text. You'll never have a clue. And
Okay. See,
I could
that's
function
how I
like
will
that in my
operate. So
20s.
yeah, okay,
I could function
okay.
like that in my 20s. So
Mhm.
Not a lot of women can though.
I know who I am now. I know the person I broke up with. It never saw me. I wasn't doing a whole lot, showing a lot of emotion and stuff. That's what my girlfriends are for. That's what my diaries for. That's what my damn therapist is for. But you would chase me first. You would
Mhm.
chase me first. I would never give a clue.
Mhm.
And see, honestly, since we're on that topic, by the
Hey,
time we
different
do
day.
all that, it's toxic and we need to break up. You can't take, I want everybody to hear me. This was a funny story. We're talking about all this, but trust what I say from experience. You can't take that type of foundation and turn it into something healthy. A very few
Hmm.
can, but it is very unlikely that you will be in that number. Instead, you will start some sort of toxic pattern that does not resemble the marriage, for example, that Charlena has, where they're not doing any kind of psychological nothing on each other. It's just all trust and love. And that's why, and in addition to everything I just said, that's why I'm not dating right now. Because I know that I'm not good for these streets at this moment in time. And I want my vibration to be at a place where the healthy guy, the whole
Mhm.
guy, the
Mhm.
guy who does either never had trust issues or has resolved all of that, that is the
Hmm.
person I attract, and I am
Right.
invisible
And
to every dusty or
mhm.
broken person out there. I want them to be like, oh, she's a little too plus size for me, or I wish she didn't wear her hair like that. Whatever it is, baby, I want you to ghost me. That's where I'm at. I don't even want them to be interested.
But a person
You
Right.
know
know.
themselves and value and know what they want. All that stuff don't matter. I'm telling you, none of that stuff starts to matter when you know where you're going and your purpose. If you're gonna support my purpose, then okay, cool. But if not, I'm gonna keep going. I don't care how good you look. I'm not even gonna stop to look your way because
Mhm.
I know who I am and I know where I'm going, and it's not there
Mhm.
because I know where there
Mhm.
is. I've been there. I'm not going there
Mhm.
because at the end of the day, I know all the bull crap that comes with it.
All right, guys, listen. It's been fun. I gotta get the baby. All right.
Hey,
All
So
right.
Brandon, She said in the comments, I'm not lying. As soon as you cook for them, they will darken your doorstep every baby. My food is excellent, okay?
That's what
You
I
got to put a
said.
lot in
That's
here
what I
before
said.
I'm cooking a
That's
meal.
what I said. Renee's funny. Hey, till next time, guys.
All,
I hope to do this
All right,
again,
love
man.
to you,
all right.
Brandon.
Yes, ma'am. You guys. Bye,
Mwah.
lady. Have a good one. Domino, love
All
you, bro.
right.
We'll do it
All right. Love you
again.
too, bro.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay,
Bye, y'all.
Bye.
Bye.
bye.